Welcome back. Michelle Riley here with Notaries for Alabama. As you know, for the last 2 weeks, I've been recording these videos to update Alabama Commission notaries about the upcoming changes to Alabama's notary law. These changes go into effect September 1, 2023. In the earlier videos, I talked about the changes to how we obtain a commission and renew our commission. Pretty straightforward. New application fee, background check, mandatory training, a larger notary surety bond. Now we're getting into the gray areas. The commission process obviously only impacts brand new notaries who are getting commissioned for the first time, and then seasoned notaries who are renewing their commission. But if you're someone like me who doesn't renew until 2024, you might be thinking, I don't need to worry about all these changes until my commission renews. You know what I have to say to you? You're wrong. While you and I don't need to worry about the new commission process, we do have to concern ourselves with the new notary accountabilities. That affects all of us on September 1st. And that's what we're going to get into today. So let me pull that up real quick. If you have not seen the earlier videos, I encourage you to go back and check them out, especially if your commission renews September, October, November, and December of 2022. All right, on the screen, you can see notary accountability. First bullet, parties can file an official complaint against notaries with a probate judge who will initiate an investigation. And that involves the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency and the District Attorney's Office. All right. This is the first time this has been put in writing in our notary law. It is super important. Those of you who know me, I make it a point to stress the fact that I am not a city, county, state, or federal official. I have no importance. I'm just a commissioned notary who is also a notary instructor and who is passionate about all things notaries. And I spend way too much time researching, reading about right now about these changes. And what I can tell you, because of my websites, I get phone calls from the general public complaining to me about a experience an individual had with a Alabama notary. And so, of course, I have to say, ma'am, sir, I'm sorry this happened to you. This is what our law says. I'm not sure what to tell you other than contacting the probate office where this notary is commissioned. Whether they do it or not, prior to 9/1/2023, there was nothing in our notary laws that gave the probate judges the power to open or initiate an investigation into the notary's actions. That changes September 1st of this year. And so this is a wake-up call. I won't even say wake-up call. This is your alarm, like you just heard my phone a moment ago, to commission notaries who have been ignoring the notary laws about what we can and cannot charge the community, members of the community. It is also a wake-up call to those of you who still don't understand how to accurately calculate the notary fee. The time for guessing and thinking it's this way are over. You need to know what Alabama law says, what we can and can't do, and follow accordingly. I'm sorry, I don't want anything to do with the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency unless I'm inviting them to come speak at a meeting to help educate notaries on how to stay safe going into people's homes. And I'm sorry about all these noises. And the district attorney's office, I only want them representing me, not coming after me. So this is a big deal right here with the first bullet. If I step outside of the lines of the law, there is a process in place to investigate me and then prosecute me. Second bullet, if a notary resigns or their commission expires, it does not absolve the notary of prosecution. And so again, I guess that used to be an out or way out, is to say, hey, that happened a while ago. That happened. I'm no longer a notary. So, oops, sorry. No. They can come after us and prosecute us, even though we are no longer an active notary. Third bullet, a probate judge can order injunctive relief against anyone who violates these laws. So now a probate judge, my understanding of what an injunction is if I'm out there willy-nilly and ignoring the notary laws, doing what I want to do, the probate judge's office can sit my butt down and issue an order that says, turn in your seal, have a seat while we complete this investigation against you. Anyone who knowingly solicits a notary to commit fraud will also be considered guilty of fraud. Yay. I've had some individuals approach me asking me to look the other way, do them a favor. So I like this. I may need to record some conversations, legally, of course, and print some, to have some folks put it in writing. So when you notaries, you've got someone, whether it's a signer, a hiring party, asking you to do something wrong, illegal, get it in writing and turn it into your probate judge's office. Moving over to the other column, whenever I see the word felony, it scares me. Why? Because I know some of the repercussions or consequences that exist for individuals who have been convicted of a felony. The loss of so many rights. So they're talking to me and other commissioned Alabama notaries. How can we get a Class D felony? By intentionally completing a false or fake notarization. If we know something is false, we should not be notarizing it. And this is why it gets me when I see on social media some notaries saying, all we're supposed to do is identify the signer. No, no, it's more to it than that. Our role is to help deter and reduce the risk of fraud. And so if we believe that fraud is taking place in a transaction, we should not be using our notary seal. But forgive me, I digress. I'm moving into educating and training instead of just reviewing the new laws. A Class D felony can result if the signer does not personally appear before the notary. I know it sounds elementary and you're like, that's a no-brainer, but I really do need to sit on this and I might just come back to it later. But there are many instances when notaries are being asked to use their seal when the signer did not appear before them. And these aren't bad folks. This happens more times than you would think, especially in an employer setting. I'll go back to when I became a notary. Those of you who wear glasses know what I'm looking for. I worked for an officer of the organization who would routinely come into the office on the weekend, late at night, go through his mail, and would find something from the lawyer who represented the organization. The officer would sign his name, put a Post-it note on it, and say, Michelle, please notarize and return back to our lawyers. In that instance, the officer of the company where I worked did not personally appear before me. Another instance might be the officer of the company has personal business, is at home with his spouse. They both sign it, the form. It needs to be notarized. He brings it into the office. I'm there now at the office. Hey, Michelle, my spouse and I need this notarized. It's for our kids. Can you please notarize our signatures and get it in the mail? I know the spouse, okay? But still, the spouse did not appear before me. And if it is a jurat notarization, what makes it even worse is they did not take an oath for that notarization. This has happened to me in the past, definitely not now, no time recently, but it does go on in the employment settings in most industries. And I know this because notaries have approached me with, you know what, it's really hard getting my boss, getting the officer, getting my colleagues to understand that I've got to meet the customer. They can't go out to lunch with a client, have the client sign a form, an affidavit, and then bring it into the office and ask me to notarize it. They tell me, don't worry, just get it done. What I'm saying to you notaries, now you have proof for why you can't do that any longer. You just refer back to this new Notary Accountability Act, show them in writing where it says you would be guilty of a Class D felony crime for doing that. Same thing with witnesses. I've had signers say to me, Michelle, go ahead and notarize my name, their name, the signer's name. And even though witnesses aren't present, they've got a neighbor or friend they're sure who will say they watched the signer sign their name. And so if I'm called to notarize a power of attorney, a last will and testament, anything that requires witnesses, I'm not doing my part of the notarization unless everyone is present. And then finally on this sheet, on this page, knowingly notarize signatures without having the proper commission status. You're like, well, what does that mean? This is kind of new, and it goes back to the second bullet under notary accountability. Keep in mind now the probate judge's office has the ability to, no, that's not the one. Well, yeah. If you are resigned, if you didn't renew your commission, you have no business using your seal. If the probate judge sits you down, it's the third bullet, and says, while we do this investigation, no notarizing, but you still out there stamping, Class D felony. I am going to pause there. These are so important. I don't want to rush through it. If you have questions at all about the notary accountabilities, the Class D felony, feel free to leave them below in the comments. I'll make every effort to respond to them. Keep in mind, these are new rules, requirements that go into effect September the 1st, 2023. And if you have not yet downloaded the new law, please do so. You will find it, give me just a moment, on trainalabama.com. Yes, trainalabama.com. If you have more questions for me and would like to speak with me, send me an email at michelle@notariesforalabama.com. I'll be happy to speak with you, speak with your employer. I want to encourage you, those of you who are notaries at your job, make sure your employer knows about these changes, because keep in mind, some of them are going to see an increase in the cost for you to be a notary if you're renewing soon. And then now, these are new legal requirements you're going to have to follow. And it should mean a change in company policy. And it is imperative that all notaries in your organization have been made aware of it. I'll tell you this much, if I were an employer, I sure would have my notaries sign something that says, yes, I'm aware of it, and yes, I'm going to adhere to these requirements. That would be me. But I encourage everyone, especially businesses, to consult a lawyer on that, because I'm not a lawyer and I don't pretend to be one on social media. I hope you find these updates helpful. The next time we get together, I will be talking about the other new accountabilities that go into effect that could result in a Class C misdemeanor charge against the notary. I know it's a lot of information. We're getting there slowly but surely. Again, hope this is helpful. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you'll get updates. and go back and check the previous videos. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for stopping by.